the opening match, I thought, which Anthony will lead us into, but I thought that was very interesting as an opening match. I would have thought that would be further down the card, but again, as we talk about nearly every pay-per-view, they sort of have a pretty interesting opening match.
And they didn't kick off with a cage match like last time.
No.
Thank God for that.
We kicked off with, produced by Michael Pierce Hayes and Jason Jordan, Bobby Lashley facing off against the Beast and the Cowboy, Brock Lesnar.
Interesting. We were talking just before we came on air a bit about, a bit of old school psychology and that. I actually quite liked a bit of that psychology at the start where, Lashley attacks Lesnar before the bell. They're outside the ring. It's showing I've got that real anger. I really want to get you back for causing me to lose my belt. I actually didn't mind that. I thought that was quite good. And you got two absolute behemoths and both, two combat sporting superstars from the combat world. But, but I must say, I thought my notes were shit finish, short match, disappointing. Lesnar obviously paid by the minute, gave them what they wanted. Because I think that was a match that they put on. They gave them what they wanted. Because the whole thing of Lesnar coming back and then attacking Lashley on Raw, doing all that, it was obviously all set up for this.
Yeah, I agree.
And it's almost like the two guys just went through the motions and did it because, I was a bit disappointed.
Look, the match started off hot and heavy.
Yeah, beautiful.
Right.
Yeah.
And then, and I don't know if there's a work or not, so you won't really know, right?
Mm-hmm.
But Lesnar got thrown into the stairs and all starts grabbing his knee.
Yes.
And he was selling that knee constantly throughout the match. So I'm wondering if that took some whole sting out of the match. The finish was a bit iffy. The finish looked like it was done on the spot. It didn't look like it was something that they built to. It was like, let's get out of here. Which, if you've been injured in a match.
I had that feeling of let's do it and get out of here. But it could be because of the injury.
Yeah, I'm not sure. So I'm just looking at, I'm playing devil's advocate here on the other side of the coin because he banged his knee. A lot of his big offense went away after that. A lot of his mobility that Lesnar has generally went away from that through the match. It becomes suplexes, F5s.
Yeah, that's
as little running as possible through the ropes. So maybe he did legitimately hurt himself.
Maybe.
And the finish was looked starched. It didn't look like it was polished at all. It looked like let's get a pin and get the hell out of here. Well, how can we get from this position to the next position without me doing another F5 or doing something like that?
Yeah, well, that sort of makes a bit more sense because the hurt lock. He's got the hurt lock on. So he gets up, springs off the top turnbuckle, flings backwards. Now, surely if you're going to get pinned, you'd let go of the hurt lock. Yeah, so you don't get pinned.
The only time it works out of the Nelson like that is you have to flip right over. The guy that's in the Nelson needs to have his feet on the ground, so there's absolutely positive pressure on it. It's a Bret Hart, Rod Piper finish from out of one of the matches they had against each other. I used the same finish in a match against Mad Dog, exactly the same. Yeah. Right? It's a good one because when you flip right over, you put 100% pressure on the guy that's got the Nelson on and the pin happens. In that case, it was just like if he was holding him in a chokehold on his back. His shoulders weren't really planted. So I don't know if it's something they rushed to go home, because there's an injury. I don't know if it worked out exactly how it meant to be. Bobby Lashley at the end of it throwing on the hurt lock and putting him out. You've gone from face now to heel.
Wow.
A little bit. He's now just taken the heel and choked him out and left him lying in the ring.
Some sort of revenge, but I mean, technically, you could say it's his own fault. Just release the hurt lock. And then put it back on after. Like don't allow your own shoulders to be pinned.
Yeah. But he's done the heel thing, and instead of accepting as a face, accepting the defeat and looking disappointed and tapping the crowd that something happened, he's attacked Lesnar again. So I didn't get the end of that completely. Whether they're going to turn him back to being heel, and they're going to try and throw it in. They overcomplicated the finish.
Yeah, yeah. And that's why I was asking Anthony if we could bring up the list of producers, because normally, as Anthony just told us, Michael P.S. Hayes was one of the producers. Normally anything he's got his hands on is not bad. It's never that clunky or that, you know.
It's true. I think something's gone wrong. I think, and I don't know. I'm not 100%. I'm not against my word. But by the way Lesnar was grabbing his knee, maybe there was something that went wrong. They said, let's take it home. It was a short match too.
Well, it was. Well, that's why when I wrote,
I would have started with that match. I mean, I would have opened with that match just purely because of the modern style now. Yeah. And I like to jumpstart the card, you know. And you got two big names like that, and because Anthony said to me, he goes, "Oh, are they starting with this?" And I said, "Well, that would be my semi-main event if I was going to book a card. Exactly. I always book semi-main event as the opener because that jumpstarts the card." So I said, "Yeah, it does make sense to jumpstart with him," but the match looked clunky. And it looked clunky from the opening part when Lesnar hit his knee. And he sort of constantly grabbed it all the way through.
Yeah, so it's hard to know if he's really selling it or if it's actually sore or... Yeah. And maybe that gig over there for them, it's just, let's go over, do what we've got to do, get out. Yeah,
you would have thought either the finish would have been cleaner.
Yeah.
And it would have put Lashley over more, right? Which it hasn't really done, except turning him into a heel, right? Because he's your guy that's your full-time guy on the roster.
Yeah.
You know, so I don't know. But I gave it 5. I was a little disappointed with it.
I gave it 4.
Did you? Okay, yeah, so you had Scotty. I gave it 5.
Because I just thought it was such a shit finish and a really bit of a nothing sort of match.
For me. It was.
For the build-up, that had a massive build-up.
Yeah, and a long time in the making. Yeah. A one-on-one match between the two, you know, two legitimate collegiate wrestlers, you know, MMA fighters.
Yeah, the whole bit.
Champions. Yeah. You know, they haven't really gone at each other one-on-one before, flat out.
And I really expected something fairly special out of that match. Because they both could do it. They both got the knowledge and the experience and the ability to put on a bloody good match.
Yeah. What did you think? What do you think, Anthony? What do you think, mate?
So as I said, I was shocked that they were going to open with it, but it makes sense of what they were trying to do. I guess really, because I mean, this gives them space to do it again at WrestleMania if they really wanted
to. Hard to know.
Because if had it happened at the Rumble this past year, that was for the title, and then I had it happen at Crown Jewel. But with this match, I thought, you know, I would have had it like I said, like with Lesnar being driven into the steps. I think something definitely happened.
Yeah.
I think it was probably like, you know, accidents do happen from that time to time. You know,
oh yeah, absolutely.
Maybe it was what was supposed to be soft ended up going a bit too hard on it, which hopefully he's not actually injured if they're going to be using him a lot more. But as I said, I gave this a 5. It was, you know, it started off the way it was going to start off.
Yes.
They were just going to go at it, but other than that, there wasn't really anything that went, you know.
Yeah, there was sort of no real great wow factor in the match. I was disappointed. My expectations for the build-up and all the things where they've had the run-ins and they've had the whole locker room come out and separate them, and Triple H even appeared on camera last week and said, tell them if they hit each other again, the match is off. But they really, really went to town on the hype. And then we got what we got, and I thought, there's something not right here. Anyway, it is what it is.
But say that I gave it a 5, so I went exactly with Manson.
Yeah, I was a bit harsh, but I was quite disappointed. My expectation was higher.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. They might do it back at Mania. Possibly.
Yeah, maybe. Who knows? Like I said, I've got a sneaking suspicion there's something wasn't right there.
Yeah, you might.
Either injury or something like that. Because both guys are better performers than that.
Yeah.
Oh God, yeah.